Welcome to another episode of the Between Podcast. It's me, you guys. It's me, Matt Matson, your host of this wonderful podcast, and joined as I am frequently now by our co-host, our friend, and really our inspiration, Reverend Danny Hillier. Danny, how are you this fine day?
I am good. I'm doing well. Nice and bundled inside. It's getting chilly outside. The holiday weather is approaching, as I'd like to say.
Yeah, this episode is scheduled to come out, I suppose, the second week of Advent, which is why we're talking about the theme of peace, which is, an easy thing to talk. Peace, no big deal. Like peace, uh, world peace, peace in your heart. Like peace is so simple. No problem. No problem, Danny. We got this. We can handle this conversation. We will tackle peace in this short podcast episode. I feel confident about that.
We will have all the answers to all the problems for world
So
peace.
this is the second episode in a series where we're tackling big, profound questions of faith. And now I think is a good time to reveal where these questions come from. I mean, we've listened closely to the hearts of betweeners around the world, and we've sat in sacred conversation with the people in our lives and allowed the Holy Spirit to fill us with the questions of their hearts. And then we just went ahead and asked AI to generate a list of 10 really good questions for us to talk about. That's really where this list comes from. ChatGPT, I feed it a lot of information about me, and I want to be clear. I don't use ChatGPT to write things. I don't use ChatGPT to create creative things that I put out into the world. What you get from between listeners is real life human stuff, which is why it's often messed up and there's typos in most of my Substack posts, and there's often missing information in half of the sermons that I deliver. But I do like to ask ChatGPT to help me brainstorm, help me think about things from new perspectives. And this asking, like, what are 10 really profound questions that people are walking around with deep inside, but they don't know how to ask? There's no real space for them to sit down and sit with people and listen to a deep exploration of some of these heavy, profound questions of faith. And so this episode's question, Danny, how do we find peace when the world profits from our anxiety? Dang, that's a good question. That's a good question. Danny, when you encounter the idea of peace, where does your heart go first? Peace, where does that take you?
Mm, Peace takes me like deep inside my soul. Like I was thinking about this question preparing for this podcast today of where peace comes from. And I truly believe that true peace we were given. Peace is a gift in the depths of our soul. Peace is our heart center. Peace is our true alignment. And we've experienced peace, right? And we do things to replicate and manufacture moments of peace in our lives, which is not a bad thing. But I believe true peace is at our very core of who we are as human beings, as beings in general.
Danny, that's a really big theological claim that our default setting is peace and not turmoil, not sin, not brokenness, not chaos, not mayhem. Those are not our default settings, but our default setting is peace. And we sometimes have to manufacture things around us uh, to get back to that default setting. Am I reflecting back accurately what you're trying to say?
Yes, so I'll give an example of what made me think of this is when I feel anxious, when I feel the swirling of the world around me, and I'm not in alignment with my true self, I will do things to manufacture moments of peace, meaning like I'll get up an extra 30 minutes in the morning light a candle, get a cozy blanket, hot cup of coffee, like those kinds of things that make my surrounding area feel peaceful so that I can take some time to truly do the hard work of peace, which is calling forth the peace within me of centering myself. For me, that's prayer to God, that's conversation with God, that's alignment with, gosh, why am I letting the world stick to me right now? And how do I clean that off and get to my true peace? So the manufactured peace is creating moments of stillness and peace around me so that I feel like I can cozy on into my soul self.
And that's complicated. It's beautiful, and it's also complicated,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that inside peace exists. Outside, it doesn't feel like peace exists. So what do? We try to add another layer outside to make it feel like what we know it's supposed to feel like inside.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, which is that's a good thing. Uh, that's us reaching outward to feel what is inward, reaching outward to reconnect with that which is inward, which I actually think is a good metaphor for church, for worship experience, for faith communities in general. Um, I could say the same thing. God is inside, and we have all this stuff outside that makes it feel like we're not connected to God. God is not inside. And so what do? We build buildings and we have worship services and we sing songs outside to try to reconnect with that thing that is inside, right? Like
Mm.
that's a really, to me, painting that picture of the work that we do to create peace externally outside of our lives is really just about us trying to tap back into or trying to reconnect with that which is already deeply and permanently within peace. Hmm.
It makes me think. So I think so. The quickest way to get to peace, and tell me if you can relate to this, because I think people listening might be able to relate to what I'm about to share, is when you are at your breaking point and you finally allow yourself to break, right? And you just sob, right? Like you just let it out, you cry, you maybe shout, you just unleash, right? And then when all the tears are gone and you're sitting there, it's almost like this is a I, maybe I'm alone, I hope I'm not, but once the tears are all gone and it's like that final exhaustion sets, there's a moment of peace. And usually that peace is followed by a really heavy night of sleep. And that that is, but because it's finally us shedding all the anxieties that the world is feeding us. It's finally us breaking and saying, "Oh, I'm not God. I am throwing all of this away. I am fragile. I am human." And getting to that core peace, to the moment when you're like, the tears are gone, the emotions have released, and I feel a weird peace right now. And I'm going to lay down and go to bed. Like, I hope someone else out there can relate, Matt. I don't know if you can relate to that, but that moment when you just let it all out, to instantly tap into that peace within.
I just love I'm so enamored by this metaphor right now of the words "let it all out." Danny, when you say when you let it all out, like you're saying you're going back to that first metaphor of peace is already inside, and we're trying and we feel all this anxiety around us, and so we try to create this external peace that isn't real, but it's close and it helps us. It's helpful, but it's not like the whole thing. The real peace, Danny, what you just said, real peace for you, moments of real peace come when you let it all out. When literally the inside peace comes out to the outside, which requires an incredible amount of vulnerability. It requires the shell to break. It requires you to take the coat of anxiety off and to remove the layers of manufactured peace that you're trying to blow out the candle and to put away the stuffy pillow. Those things are wonderful and they're helpful, but they're not the real thing. Man, the real thing happens when the inside is outside. And that is, that's, I don't know. That's kind of heavy, man. Like that's pretty cool and frustrating for people who have a really hard time letting the inside out. Danny, I didn't want to just nod my head and be like, "Yeah, I so relate. I so relate," because the real truth is, uh, for most of my life, and even most of the time now, I don't have a practice of letting it all out. I don't. I really don't, and that causes problems for me. But I don't have a healthy. I don't just break down and cry and let it all out. In fact, I think I spent decades training myself not to do that for reasons that we could unpack another day. But um, I, you know, I, and so, but the moments that I have, first of all, it doesn't always come out of me as tears. Sometimes it comes out as anger. Sometimes like absurd anger, like anger that doesn't make any sense. Anger,
Hmm.
illogical anger is the right way to, like, what are you, why are you mad at that? What are you shouting about that for? That's not even what's going on right now. Like, what's that about? But that's me letting out, trying to let out, it's like a steam release valve. It's letting out what is inside.
Mm.
And it's not anger that's inside. Anger is the thing that's on the outside that gets blown off when the steam of peace, hot, beautiful peace on the inside is trying to get out, trying to reconnect with the outside world. Man, that's real. And I don't do it enough, Danny, to know that I get a good night's sleep afterwards. But that sure sounds good. That sure sounds good. I don't know. That sure sounds good.
It, you're not alone in that either. I hear people all the time of when they want to cry, it comes out shouting about the way they redesigned the store and the produce is not in the right section
Totally.
anymore. Like,
Totally.
like
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
more often than not, people can relate with that. Uh, but it's truly it's letting that out, and it's because peace is something I really believe peace is abundant, and peace is so sacred we often protect it as if it's scarce. That this moment is so peaceful, this moment of peace inside of me, it's so fleeting, it's gonna go away. I gotta do everything I can to protect it, right? Rather than, oh, like actually there's an abundance of peace, and we were meant for peace. We were designed by peace itself, and there's enough to be shared. But because in the world we live in, it seems as if it only comes and goes so infrequently in our lives that we grab it.
Or that we have to save it up. Like
Mm,
we have to save up for peace.
yeah,
Oh, I'll have peace when I retire. I'll have peace
yeah.
on the 1 hour I give myself on Sunday afternoon. After all the chores are done. Oh, I'll have peace then. But until then, like I'm going to stay in this frazzled state. I'm going to stay in this anxious state. Uh, because I have to, because there's only so much peace that I get,
Mm,
right? Like, to your point that it seems so scarce. I actually, Danny, I want to ask you about this, the heart of the question that we're diving into isn't just what is peace or where do we find peace, but how do we find peace when the world profits from our anxiety? That question is loaded with layers of truth that are hard to admit.
mhm.
Uh, I think you said the phrase "the economy of peace" earlier, and you were talking about sort of scarce. It's abundant, not scarce, but um, the world around us literally profits from our anxiety. Uh, we There are news outlets that profit from our eyeballs being on them, and so they want us to feel as anxious as possible so that we watch as often as possible. Um, there are social media platforms, all of them, that are built to remind us what we're lacking and making us feel anxious about it so that we'll stay there, literally making billions of dollars off of our anxiety. The thing that we're selling today is not our attention. The thing that we're selling is our anxiety. That is the most profitable thing out there. It makes us, anxiety makes us want to buy more things, makes us want to be more scared of each other, makes us want to tune in to more channels more often, makes us want to stay addicted to high drama television shows, and makes us want to watch programming that shows the worst behavior of humanity, because that's what makes us feel good. Like literally profit, massive industries, most of the world profiting off of one thing: keeping us anxious, keeping us from that thing that is deep within us, that is built within us, that might be an equivalent to God: peace. The world is built to make money off us not feeling it. That is so. If that's the case, how do we stay peaceful? Is it, do we light more candles and get up a half an hour early every day? Is that the only option?
That is the way you just phrased all of that. I hope more people can pause and reflect of that truth, of that we are being fed fear, that we are being fed that living at these high anxious rates is normal. And it feels normal because we're so accustomed to it, right? Like you can almost predict the news headlines based on the season, right? If it's coming around the holiday season, they're going to fill us with fear about our travel schedules, about the cost of food, about flus and viruses. Like we can predict, and yet we still feed into it. It's because we are so hardwired that way, and you'll catch it in your everyday conversations, right? I've more often than not lately, especially with traveling, with the government shutdown and the crisis within America, more often than not, I've talked to people and I go, oh, have a nice flight tomorrow. And if the flight happens, it's like that's like the first response, right? Or it's you're talking to your spouse and they're in another state and they're like, I'll see you tomorrow. You're like, maybe, I don't know. Like, will you make it? Yes, we automatically mirror what we're being fed through the media and through the headlines. And so I think we don't even notice how easily we slip into the anxiety, no matter how peaceful the morning was, no matter how wonderful and aligned we felt. The moment we allow the the news headlines to just temporarily stick, our brains are hardwired to run with it.
I would argue that we are our own worst enemy and our own most likely hero to each other in the framework of this question. Like how do we maintain peace in a world that profits from our anxiety? I think the way that we're our worst enemy is, when I sit down to a coffee meeting with somebody, it can be really easy to start off with, spend the first half hour of, oh, did you see the news? Oh, or even, oh, how about our local football sports team? Aren't you frustrated by, and oh, like it's the holiday season. Can you survive? Our instinct is we've been trained.
Mm-hmm.
We have an entire industrial complex training us to be anxious and to share anxiety. Do that, and you will feed the monster,
Mm-hmm.
the industrial world tells us. In the moment we start to show up with each other in a way that centers peace, that shares peace, that says, oh, yeah, all those things are difficult. I'm here with you right now. I'm here with you right now. Let's be together. Let's be in this moment. Let's share what's real for us. And by the way, sharing what's real, I mean, things that are hard, things that are heavy, things that are full of grief or sorrow, like that, those aren't the opposite of peace. I think this is, I think a lot of people would say, well, grief is the opposite of peace. I don't think so. I think grief and peace live in the same ballpark. I think they are, they're neighbors to one another. They sing from the same hymnal. I really do think so. Um, Anxiety, though, like anxiety, anxiousness, fear, those things are on the opposite end of the spectrum from peace. And so when we come together, I think we get to choose which side of which neighborhood we're showing up in, which side of the spectrum we're on. Are we going to engage with people peacefully or not? And that to me is an interesting frame of this conversation. Is there micro violence in the way that we have everyday conversations with people? Is is it is it our default behavior to just go around and be micro violent with each other, talk about all the bad, make each other anxious, poke each other in the anxious bone? You know what I mean? Like is that, and we can choose to be peaceful instead. I think I'm circling around something here that I can't quite land on, Danny. I'm curious if any of those things are resonating.
Yeah, all the things that I'm feeling the swirl where you're going, and I'm wondering where we are even going to land with this peace conversation. But I want to share an example, and I think other new parents, new moms especially, that that phrase itself of the how the world profits on our anxiety. How do we maintain peace when the world profits on our anxiety? I think of new parents. My goodness, when I had our precious, beautiful baby girl, and I remember I'd never been a mom. I'm up all hours of the night. When you're sleep deprived, the anxiety goes even higher. When we have access to these cell phones in the middle of the night, when your baby's not sleeping and you can't figure out what's wrong and you're afraid to lay them down, uh, how many ads I got of sleep devices or the latest technology of a mattress. I bought a $300 mattress for our infant at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it showed
Mm-hmm.
up 2 days later. And my husband
Mm-hmm.
goes, "What?" And I, that was anxious new mom. But I think of these tangible examples, right? Of when our anxiety is so high, we want a quick solve, right? We want the add to cart, ships in 2 to 3 days. Amazon is the best example of this, right? We think we need, oh, this one more thing added to my evening routine, my morning routine, my cooking routine. This is going to solve the anxiousness within me. And it's not. This is a quick moment though, you know, for anybody that needs any type of medication to help soothe their anxieties, their chronic anxieties. This is not against that. This is against like the consumerism that we live in and the consumerism culture that we're in. And the reality is I got that $300 mattress. I put it in the baby's crib. I wasn't any less anxious because peace doesn't come. We can't consume peace from the world. My favorite scripture, and I'm just going to summarize it because I can't remember exactly where it is in the Gospels, but Jesus says, "My peace I give to you, my peace I leave with you. I give peace to you not as the world gives, but as I give to you." That is our core. We're not going to purchase peace online. We are going to embody peace, knowing that we were born with it. We were given it. We were breathed peace from the very moment that we came into this world. And that's where I'll end that moment right there.
Yeah, the that bit from Jesus where he's like, I give peace to you, not in the way the world gives you peace, but in the way that I bring peace. Like that to me is such a deep message because it separates. It says, when you think of peace, what do you think of? I think of no war. I think of this nation being at peace with this nation. And Jesus is like, no, not like that. Like I'm not. That's not what I'm talking about. He's like, I'm not talking about that. That is not it. You, if you're thinking of worldly peace, like peace as you kind of ought, no, the opposite, because that kind of peace requires division and separation still. And Jesus says, I'm going to bring a whole different kind of peace. In fact, no, he says, I've already brought it. It's already here. Good news. It's already here. It exists right now. It is togetherness. It is right here. It is you making the choice in the moment you're in right now with the person you're with right now to be peaceful, like to bring peace. That's it. No matter what, no matter where you are, radically wild, even if they are from a different denomination, from a different country, from a different origin, from a different faith, right there, you get to, peace is already there. This Advent season, the sermon that I wrote about peace is, I think Isaiah being like, I'm not the one who's going to bring peace, but the one who is coming, which is such a cool. I love the idea of somebody saying, it's not here yet, but it's coming. Like, don't worry. I know you can. I know if I just walk up to you, Danny, and you're in your most anxious state, and I say, good news, Danny, peace is here. Peace. You'll be like, shut up. Like, can you not see that I'm melting down right now? Like, no. Same vice versa. But John the Baptist does something else. Excuse me, I'm doing John the Baptist. I said Isaiah, but he's hearkening to Isaiah. John the Baptist does something else. He says, peace isn't. I'm not the one bringing you peace. I don't have the answer, but it's coming. It's coming. And Jesus becomes this symbol for this peace that is there. It's out there for us whenever we want. He already showed up, like it's 2,000 years ago. It's out. It's literally sitting there. All we got to do is walk into that type of engagement with the people around us. It's not the way the world has defined it. It is a whole different thing. It is a much deeper, much more profound idea.
So much with it. Even that moment of, if we're thinking about practical human interactions, right? When you come into an encounter with someone who's beyond anxious, right? And you want to give them immediate peace. We can't give people peace. We can bring our non-anxious presence to their anxious presence. And I think there's something so profound. I believe God said it first, but researchers, scientists, clinicians have really studied breath and breath work, right? In the middle of a panic attack, in the middle of, your highest anxious moment, in the middle of your frustration, when you breathe, it does something to your brain. It does something to your heart rate. It does something to your soul, because our breath is our closest access to the peace within. So you can come, and I think I took a parenting class that actually taught about this when your toddler's in the middle of a meltdown, right? Like, you overemphasize your breath. Because you can't tell a 4-year-old to take a deep breath. What does that mean? You just show them, right? So you bring your non-anxious presence and you breathe, and you see, like, peace immediately falls upon the room, that person. Like, being the steadiness in someone's storm is our greatest calling, and sometimes the most overlooked calling in our everyday interactions, of how often we come to people and start the coffee conversation of right? When, if we sat down and the first thing we did other than hi is that moment of collective, let's steady this ship for a moment.
Can't help but connect. So to me, peace, as a social animal, I think we feel the most peace when we know we are among the flock, when we're with our group, right? When we're with our tribe, when we are sharing a collective breath, we are breathing together. That community matters because we've evolved as a species to be the safest and breathe the steadiest when we are together, when we are in group. And when we're separated from group, when we're all out by ourselves, our fear instinct, our body is built in such a way that our breath shortens and we are panicking and we are becoming very anxious. And that is a product of being separated from the safety of the group. Well, now think about what the news is doing when it's making you fearful. When the promo for the nightly news for people who still watch TV comes on, and it's like at 9 o'clock, find out why your children are at risk from Santa Claus. Tune in. Like that. That was a bad one. I could have done better. I feel like I need a redo on that. But thanks for laughing. Anyway,
it was good. That was good.
Yeah.
It was relatable.
You understand the joke. Yep.
If you come up with another one, just interrupt.
I don't think I should. I feel like I dropped that one. Anyway, but what's the point? The point is make you feel scared, make you feel separate from the group. You are in danger. You are out alone in the dark, in the wilderness. And you're in danger, right? Like make you feel that way. I make money if the news makes money, the TV channel makes money if I get you feeling that way. Social media, I even think like scrolling and short videos are literally built. Check your breath, check your heart rate, check your breath. If you're scrolling on social media, on Facebook, on anything, like check your breath and check your heart rate. You'll find it elevated, your breath shortened and your heart rate elevated, which is about separating you from the pack. Like these are, when I say the space between us is sacred, I always feel like that's shortchanging, like this 5,000 page book that I want to write. That is what's actually in that. The space between us is sacred. What part of what I'm saying is that as a species, no matter what faith we claim or no matter what spiritual tradition we come from, we all innately know that when we are collectively together, when we are sharing space, we feel safer and our breathing steadies and our anxiety decreases and we feel the peace of togetherness. Danny, the peace that is innate within us, just like togetherness is our innate default setting. That's the way we're supposed to be. The way the world profits off of our anxiety is that they make us apart. They separate us. They divide us. They disconnect us. And we don't have to do that. We don't have to accept that. We can choose to be together. And even, I think, just the act of being together. I love 1 hour coffee meetings. You know that about me, Danny. I fill my whole week with 1 hour coffee meetings because by the end of an hour, no matter how much coffee I've drank, my heart rate actually decreases because I'm connected with that person. And we are, there's something sacred, something beautiful, something, sort of physical probably too, that is decreasing heart rate, but there's something just really beautiful and important happening in that space between us.
You named something so important there too, because I value relationships, I value friendships, and texting and phone calls and direct messages with my friends sometimes is the least peaceful thing. Like I have unread messages from my best friend of like 20 years right now. And I'm like, oh, it's one more thing I have to do. But when I'm sitting with them, time doesn't even matter, right? Like there's a different piece that comes because we weren't built for technological communication. Sure, it's enhanced our human experience, and it's also part of the reason why we feel such a lack of peace. Because actually, what we need is that sit down conversation where we can physically feel each other's energies, match each other's breath, and be reminded that we're not alone.
Yeah, we're not alone. That might be the easiest shorthand for understanding how to get to peace. The answer to the question, everybody. We came up with an answer to the big profound question. How do you what was the question? How do you find peace? How do you maintain peace in a world that is profiting from our anxiety, let's remind each other that we're not alone. And that's a pretty good answer, Danny. I don't know. That's a pretty good answer.
I think that's pretty good. I think that's as close as we're going to get on this afternoon.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Let's call that success. Let's call everybody. Feel free to write in the comments. Give us a 5-star review on this particular episode because we got the answer right. We've decided.
Next question.
Next question. Move on. This is
we
easy.
Do something in the churches that I serve. There's an element of worship, and it's called passing the peace. We pass the peace of Christ with one another. And what we say to one another is peace of Christ with you and also with you. It's such a profound moment of service and has become something so ordinary that I think people don't really understand how wonderful of an exchange that is. Like, I bring my peace, and there's peace with you, and there's peace with me. I honor the peace in you, and I ask you to honor the peace in me. Let's not bring the rest of our agendas, but let's honor this peace, this handshake, this smile, this human interaction with one another.
Yeah, it's funny, Danny, when anytime I pass the, especially at Grace, a church that we both serve and that you serve a lot more than I do, but when it's time to pass the peace, I circle the room. I always do a full circle of the room, and I'm sure people are like, "What is this guy doing?" Like, just stay by your seat, buddy. Just turn. You don't have to do all this, pal. You don't have to overachieve. But I love it. I'll circle the room, and I'll butt into other people having conversations, and to be honest, I'm not thinking about this all the time, but you're right. Or at least if our message here is the way that we maintain peace in a world that doesn't want us to have it is remind each other that they're not alone, is to experience togetherness, then passing the peace, that little handshake and, peace be with you. It may feel a little ordinary, and to some people I can feel their eyes rolling and them begging for the music to start so they don't have to can we not, with all the handshaking and then I didn't come to church to make friends. Anyway, I know some of those people and I get it. And I feel like I want to make more meaning out of that, even for myself, because that is a symbolic ritual that it says peace comes together. Peace comes when we're reminded that we're not alone. And that is, if we want peace, and I know we all do, that's probably why you did come to church today. It's going to come through togetherness. It's going to come in community. It's going to come through the sacred space between us.
My least favorite thing that we do as human beings is, hi, how are you? I despise that. And I do it all the time. Like, because it's usually on a walk or quickly passing by and we expect someone to answer that question in the 10 seconds we're giving them of how are you? And we really don't want them to say anything other than I'm good or I'm fine or I'm okay. Don't tell me the full truth right now because I've got 10 seconds of my day that I'm offering. What if instead, this holiday season, instead of hi, how are you? It's peace. Just peace.
Peace be with you, stranger at the grocery store. Peace be with you, gas station attendant. Peace be with you.
Peace be with you.
All right, let's give it a shot, Danny. Why don't you give it a shot? You let me know how it goes.
I will make a log of all my interactions and how this challenge goes. I will take on the challenge first before I ask others to join me in the challenge.
I will instruct my children to do that at high school, like in their high school classrooms, and just in the hallway. Just, hey, buddy, peace be with you over there. Hey there, fella, peace be with you. Stuff like that. I don't know. We'll give it a shot. Okay, Danny, thanks. Thanks for answering. Thanks for coming with an answer to this question. You showed up with no problem. I like it. Gosh, you're prepared.
This is easy question.
Strong pastoring today, Danny. Strong pastoring.
Oh, it's always a good conversation.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to the Between podcast. This has been another episode of brilliant insight and groundbreaking truths. And you're probably shaking right now. If you're shaking right now, listen to me. You're not alone. Do you have goosebumps? friend, you and all the other 1 million listeners that we have. Like you probably are just feeling something profound, and that is us, friends. We're happy to be in your life. Thanks, Danny. This was fun.
This was fun.
Bye, everybody.
See you next time.